welcome to TalkFCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys. And in today's video we are going to have yet more reaction to Barcelona's thumping win against Alavés. It was 5-0, a positive end to what has been a difficult season. And today we're going to be discussing the words of Setien and again the words of Messi following today's game, because I think it's very, very interesting how now they seem much more on the same path, on the same road. And that road there, it leads to the Champions League. Both men want the same thing. We want success. And in today's video, we're discussing it all. Let's do this. And this is very, very interesting, guys, because obviously today we saw an improved Barcelona performance. We saw 5 excellent goals, and it was a good win, a positive win against Alavés. But like we said there in the match review, we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. At the end of the day, it still was only Alavés. We have much bigger and much more difficult tests to come, no doubt about it. But it was interesting that after the game, a story broke there originally from Cat Radio, and then right throughout the local media in Barcelona, that after the Osasuna game, Messi and Setien met in a one-on-one meeting to basically find some sort of resolution. And it was actually there Quique Setien who reportedly requested that meeting there with Messi after his words after the game against Osasuna. He was clearly very frustrated with himself, with the players, with the coaching staff, with everybody really, because Messi wants things to be better. Messi wants to win, and of course Quique Setien wants exactly the same thing. So Setien there, according to reports, set up that meeting after the game against Osasuna with Messi. They sat down there for nearly an hour, just one-on-one, only those two in the meeting, just talking about how they could get to that next step. How could they progress as a team, as a unit, on the same path? And apparently, that meeting did a world of good there to ease the tensions, not just between Messi and Setien, but then that conveyed onto the players to find out exactly how we can make it all work together with the same ideas all pulling in the same direction. And as you can see there out on the field today, in terms of the performance, in terms of the freedom of the players, I think we look much better. We look more motivated, but even more significantly than that, I think as we're going to come on to now, the words of both men, Messi and Setien, they seem much more together, much more united, as you'll hear. Because we first of all start with the words of Lionel Messi, who once again faced the media immediately after today's game against Alavés, and that's twice in a row now, after Osasuna and now after Alavés, where Messi has come off the pitch and straight away spoken to the media, and that's rare. That is really uncommon for Messi. But I think given the uncertainty right now surrounding the club, we as fans are so happy that the captain there is coming out and speaking to all of us. And Messi said the following words. He came out first of all, he said the main thing is that behind closed doors, we have all been self-critical. We've done what we needed to do, and today we've taken an important step in our attitude and commitment out on the field. He said those are the things that we must always have. He said because after that, things out on the field, they may or may not turn out for you, things may or may not go your way, but at no point should a team want to win more than we do. And even more interestingly, Messi then went on to say the performance is an important moment for us as a group, but we're all aware that we have to be much more consistent. But as the coach said, we have had some very good games, we've had some very good minutes, but now that must be maintained for the full 90 and in all games. And I thought that was interesting there, because that's the first time where Messi has actually said, you know what, I agree with Quique Setien. He says there, like the coach said, we have had good moments. And I think there, that's one of the first signs that, you know what, there is a bit of unity. We have to do better. We have to be more consistent. We're all aware of that. But Messi there admitting we have seen signs. Now we need to put it all together in a full 90-minute performance on a regular basis. Messi was then asked about the Pichichi award, which is now official. He has beaten Karim Benzema to the top goal scorer award in La Liga. And incredibly with Messi, that is now his 7th Pichichi award, and that is unbelievable. He now stands alone as the top goal scorer, of course, in Spain, but he's now won more Pichichis than Telmo Zarra, breaking yet another record. Messi, of course, has an endless book of records that he breaks, but he said individual awards are secondary to me. Indeed, it It may be a record of winning 7 top scorer awards, but I would have much preferred to win it alongside a league title like I have done on other occasions. And Messi, as he always says, he's not thinking about those individual awards. He's not thinking about records. He wants success for the team. And if the awards come with that, then great. But Messi's not usually happy unless, as a team, we are successful. He was then asked by the reporter, looking ahead now to the Champions League, do you feel better? Do you feel like you're in a better place? He said, now we need a bit of calm. In this coming break, we need to be calm, we need to clear our heads and come back with more enthusiasm than ever. We've already said everything that needs to be said. We've already done the self-criticism, and now we have to work and we have to give more. There is nothing more to talk about. We've got to show now that we've made the changes, and I think today was an important step forward for the team. And I think everything Messi has said there, I think we can take real comfort from that. I think we can be very, very excited by that, because I think quite clearly after that Osasuna game, losing the league, losing that game as well, I think there was a change. I think there had to be some sort of change from the coaching staff, from the players together, to actually say, look, if we do continue on this road, none of us are going anywhere. We're not going to achieve anything playing like this. And I think we did need that drastic change. And of course, it's early days. Like I say, you can't just say, oh, we've beaten Alavés, now we're going to go and win the Champions League, now we're going to easily beat Napoli. It's not that simple. We now need to see the team go away to get the right rest, to get the right recovery, and then come back, train, prepare, work hard to take on Napoli, which is a massive game. It was then over, of course, to Quique Setien, who was immediately asked, as he always does in interviews, about his future at the club. Is he going to remain as the coach? He said, I've always been calm about my future. He said, I don't think particularly about my future as a coach, but more about the team and about the club. He said, I'm just one piece in what is here a huge club. I focus only on improving and convincing my players to do certain things. Things like my future, I cannot control. He was then asked directly, did the defeat against Osasuna cause a reaction from the team? Has there been a sudden change within the group? He said it's true. We have had a deep reflection period on the whole situation, and it's true that we've spoken and it has served us well because some things have been cleared up. He said that's something that has been supported with today's game, with this performance, with this result, which will allow us now to face the future with more confidence and in a different state of mind. And then, of course, also inevitably in Quique Setien's recent press conferences, there was a lot of questions there about Messi, his words after today's game, his words in previous games, and he was then asked, do you feel supported by Lionel Messi? He said, of course, I feel supported by everybody. I understand that you have to make self-criticism when you make decisions, and with so many games in a row, so many games all at once, he said it's normal. Everybody can be wrong sometimes. He said after a defeat, there are things that are said by everybody, different kinds of feelings, but you always have to see things in a broader context. I've always felt supported by Messi and everybody else. And I think there that was basically Setien saying, you know what, after games, things can be said in the heat of a moment, things can be said in the public eye, but it's not always as dramatic and as drastic as it may seem from the outside. I think there with Messi, he would have sat down. I think they definitely cleared the air in that meeting that happened between the two of them. And I think right now, they just want to push on and actually work in the same direction. He was then asked, do you have a good relationship with Messi? With Setien said, my relationship with Messi is the same as with everybody else, or more or less. He said there's some players who are more open, you have a different relationship with, but he said my relationship with Messi is good. Then, of course, came up the subject of the Champions League preparation there ahead of that game against Napoli. Setien said we have to have more consistency in the things that we do well. Sometimes we do get disorganised, we're then vulnerable. He said now we have time to train ahead of that game. We've got 2 weeks to prepare for the match against Napoli, and that time will help us improve this type of thing. And the one worry, of course, from today's performance and indeed the result was the injury sustained there to Clement Lenglet. Setien was asked, is it a serious problem? Is he going to be available for the game against Napoli? With Setien saying there that Lenglet does indeed have a problem. He said we knew that today wasn't really the time to take risks, and he decided himself to actually come off the field. And he said I think Lenglet made a great decision to actually take himself off. He said now he's going to undergo some tests, but I hope that it's nothing, and in principle right now, I don't believe that it's a serious problem. So that there, potentially, some really good news on Lenglet. We can't afford to lose him ahead of the Champions League, and we'll be hoping there that it's nothing serious and he'll be available for that game. But finally, Setien was asked there about the Barcelona B players who helped the team today with the first team again and really, really impressed Ansu Fati, Ricky Puig and Ronald Araujo. With Setien saying Ansu, Ronald and Ricky have had a great game today, all three of them. He said they're taking full advantage of worth every minute they're getting. They bring energy to the team. It's a transition for them, going from kids to great footballers. And you can see now they're taking more responsibility. And they are sure to be the future of this club. They will be great footballers. And I think certainly it is worth drawing some attention to those Barcelona B players. I was really impressed with every single one of them today. Ansu, Ricky Puig and Ronald Araujo really putting in some good displays. But I also want to bring you here the result this evening from Barcelona B in their Segunda B playoff game, the quarter-final stage, because they've beaten Valladolid Promesas by 3-2. And that's a big result for them. They were without Ricky, they were without Ronald, they were without Ansu, but still, they got the job done there. Garcia, Pimienta's men, Conrad de la Fuente scored 2 very important goals on the day. He is a rising star there at Barcelona B level. Monchu as well got a really important goal. And like I say, that's a massive win for them there. They're now through to that semi-final stage. It's quite a long process to get yourself promoted there from Segunda B, but it's so important for the development and the platform there for our young players to play on. And I just want to leave you with this. This right here is the Barcelona first team on their way home from the Alavés game, and look at Ricky Puig. He's got his iPad. Is he listening to music? Is he there just chilling out on some game? No, he's watching Barcelona B against Valladolid Promesas in that Segunda B playoff because he wants to see how Barca B are getting on. And that is what cannot be taught. These young players who come through La Masia, you can't teach that. They just get it. They just get this club. They understand what it means. They genuinely care. And I love Ricky Puig. I honestly do. I absolutely love everything about him. He's such a wonderful player. He's a brilliant person. And he is the future of this club. So please do let me know your thoughts in the comments down below on everything you have seen today from Barcelona against Alavés, and indeed now what you've heard from Quique, Setien and from Lionel Messi. And of course also let me know on that important Barcelona B result in the comments down below. Thanks indeed guys for all of you joining me, and also all of you in the TalkFCB Flick group chat, which of course during games and also in this break there's going to be plenty of talk there. You can find that in the description down below. And soon, of course, there will be more videos coming up on more TalkFCB too. There's plenty to come. Thanks as always, guys. I will see you soon. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça.